It's Thursday. I'm Lawrence Presman. They call me the Prez, co-founder of Wager Talk Media, owner of WagerTalk.com, SportsMemo.com, and the iconic must-read Gold Sheet. You're watching Puck Time. Today's show, Carmine Bianco and Dave Cokin. We're taking apart 4 games in depth. Then we'll get to the last minute of play, where we will look briefly at all the other games. I want to bring my guests in. Welcome to the show, Dave Cokin and Carmine Bianco. And Dave Cokin first. How are you, my friend?
Good. I won an overtime game last night with the Sabres, so that put me in a good mood. Got some sleep, ready to go tonight. And I can't wait to find out what Carm's got, because he's an ace in the NHL, no question about that.
Yeah, well, I guess we should then go straight to the promo. Carm is an ace in the NHL. Did about 115% ROI last year in hockey. And basically you can get half of his season, half of his NHL season for $150 off the regular price. Head over to wagertalk.com, use the promo code CARM345, that's CARM345, and you get half of his hockey season for $345. Carmine Bianco! I too had Buffalo yesterday and won in overtime, kind of because of you. You know, you texted me, you're like, we're good to go. It was 4-2. You're like, I'm turning the TV off. Then the Habs tied it up at 4-4. I texted you. I'm like, turn it back on. You did. Voila.
I turned it off at 4-3 because that gave me the over. So the over was 6 in that game. But no, man, you're spinning it up in NHL. Dave, you've always got NHL winners. Lawrence, you went, what, 2-1?
Yeah, 2-1, and one of them was a 165 dog. Yeah, nice. So good day yesterday. Guys, we're going to take apart 4 games today in depth. Edmonton, New Jersey, San Jose, Chicago, Vegas, Arizona, and the Wings versus the Habs. And then we're going to do the last minute of play, where we will look 30 seconds on each game. But before we get into that, Dave Cokin, what a frickin' ball game last night between the Dodgers and the Nationals. And, you know,
that was great.
You and I spoke really briefly after the Nationals won the wild card game, and we both felt that they were a dangerous team to play against. There was a feeling of destiny on their side. I mean, they were, I think, 13-31 or 19-31 early on in the season. I mean, look, this team's got 2 aces, almost 3 aces. They're hitting the ball well. They're absolutely in the zone. Clayton Kershaw, my God.
It's crazy.
You want to know the craziest statistic, Dave? I don't know if you know this, but Clayton Kershaw has never in the history of his career thrown back-to-back home run pitches in the regular season.
He has now.
And he's done it twice in the playoffs.
Twice, yeah.
Yep. He has now.
I mean, and I'm sure, I'm not going to pin this on Dave Roberts, because these things are discussed before the game. And it's management plus the manager making the decision as to what we're going to do in certain situations. So it was a consensus among the Dodger people that Kershaw was going to get brought in that situation. And I don't agree with it. Some guys are made to, big power pitchers can come in that situation and be very effective in relief. Kershaw no longer fits that category. And I would not have gone to Kershaw last night. I mean, it's easy to second guess, but watching the game, when he came in, I'm thinking, boy, the Nationals got a shot here. And it turned out they did.
Yeah, I didn't understand a lot of it, Dave. I felt like they shouldn't have brought Kershaw in. And then when they brought in Maeda, they took him out. And this is a starting pitcher that I felt could have gone another 2 good innings.
Plus, they went, Joe Kelly did well in 1 inning, and then they brought him back out, which with short relievers is a dicey move. And obviously he got in a big mess in the 10th inning, and that was that. So,
but the last thing I want to say about the baseball game last night, and I had a 5% play on the over, which cashed, obviously, due to a brilliant ending. These commentators, these announcers, the color guys, the callers, if you will, they don't get an opportunity to call a grand slam home run in the bottom or in the top of the 10th of an elimination game in the playoffs, maybe ever in their life. They got to do a better job than that. Touch Them All, Joe.
Oh, on TV.
Touch Them All, Joe was called by Tom Cheek. That is an indelible call. Last night's call was, it's going, it might go, it went, yay!
It's TV. You don't need, unless you got something really good, like Do You Believe in Miracles? And that was 45 years ago. I don't need the announcer to tell me what happened on TV.
We've got the
crowd's going nuts. I mean,
We've got the Blue Jay one. Touch 'em all, Joel. You'll never hit a bigger one. When Joe Carter hit that.
The only walk-off game-winning home run in World Series history to win it.
But before we switch to hockey, let me tell you something. In my eyes, managers live and die by results, their reputation. Okay, if Kershaw comes in and pitches 2+ innings of shutout relief, he looks like an absolute genius.
But the thing is, Kershaw's postseason pattern is unfortunately clear. He has not been a good October pitcher.
Yeah,
he just hasn't.
He rolled. So
is that the guy? Is that the guy you want to bring in?
Yeah.
To hold the lead. I
get it. You can look at
it's not a second. I'm not second guessing because when it happened, it's like, wow, boy. I mean, I thought that was a break for the Nationals. Him coming in, and it turned out to be tremendous.
They just weren't all there. You look at Bellinger was non-existent in this series. He hit 211. Where was he? You know what I mean? You need your best players to be there. You know what I mean? In a series, that's 5 games. So
I got to interrupt you. I'll end on this note. There were a lot of Atlanta Braves fans that paid a shit ton of money to sit at that venue last night. The game was over
they saw
in
history.
the first inning.
Yeah, but they got to see history. Nobody's ever scored 10 runs in the first inning of a postseason game.
He's Dave Cokin. I'm the Prez. Carmine Bianco with us. All 3 of us can be found at Wager Talk. You're listening to Puck Time. My apologies, there was no show yesterday. We did tape it. Buster Sports and Andrew McGinnis. The sound quality coming out of Andrew's house was so bad we had to can the show. Carm, real quick. You hit 115% return last year in hockey. This is your sport. This and soccer. Everybody, you can get half of his NHL season for $345. That's half of his NHL season. Use the promo code CARM345. Boys, Edmonton on the road playing New Jersey. Smith versus Blackwood in net. This is an interesting game for me. I went 2-1 last night. I took the over in the New Jersey game against Philadelphia. New Jersey put up a 0. In cricket, they call it a duck. And I've been... What, Dave?
I said they were not good. I watched that game.
Yeah.
They were not good.
I said at the beginning, I said on the NHL preview show, and I got mocked and laughed at that I think Edmonton is going to be in the hunt for a playoff position. I think they're a better team than most people think. They're off to a 3-0 start, and they're flying on the ice. Connor McDavid looks unstoppable right now. I mean, he's end to end. With that said, I think it's a tough spot for Edmonton. They're getting New Jersey, who, New Jersey is technically on a back-to-back, except they didn't show up last night, so I don't know if last night counts as the first leg of the back-to-back. They haven't won a game. They're minus 125, and I'll tell you flat out, I've got one play tonight in NHL. It's on the Colorado-Boston Bruins game. But the over and New Jersey were my second and third favorite play on the card. I didn't get to the window with either, but I still might. I'm on New Jersey, and I'm on the over. Dave Cokin.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you're getting a little value here, because the Oilers are up to a great start, and they do look good. But, East Coast swing now for them. And New Jersey, I'm not going to say it's desperate times, because you can't say that this early in the season. But they still win. And I think you're going to see a good effort from this team after a very poor performance last night against Philadelphia. They were bad at every aspect of the game last night. The one worry remains the goaltending for New Jersey, which looks like it's going to be a problem all season long. But I would say that if there's a spot to take the Devils, this looks like it might be it.
Yeah, we're on the same page, brother. Carmine Bianco.
Yeah, listen, last night's game I thought was a very good opportunity for the Devils to take it to the Flyers early on in that game. The Flyers, we talk about like jet lag. Listen, they played their season opener in Prague against the Blackhawks. They come back. That was on the 9th. That was on the 4th, okay? 5 days earlier. They come back. That first period, they clearly played flat. If you look at them, that game, the Devils outshot them. But the Flyers eventually got their legs, and obviously they completely outplayed the Devils in the second and third periods of that game. I think that was the Devils' chance to come out and really take it to the Flyers early on, get a goal, and maybe take control of that game early, and they didn't. I have to believe this team is better than what we've seen so far.
They are.
I think they put in a good effort tonight at home. After this, they've got the Bruins on Saturday, and we're going to talk about that Bruins game when we talk about the Colorado game later. But they're away to Boston on Saturday in the Bruins home opener. So I got to think the Devils get a win tonight against Edmonton. I have no opinion on the total.
Dave, San Jose, Chicago, real rough start for the season for San Jose. They looked anemic against the Vegas Golden Knights. Last year, and this is so interesting to me, last year I watched a lot of the San Jose games at the beginning of the season specifically, and they looked slow. They looked like one of the slowest teams in the league, them, the Kings, Anaheim. And it really showed against a team like the Vegas Golden Knights. They were skated off the ice. They are 0-4 to start the season. Chicago has only played one game this year. I don't have San Jose is a hell of a lot better team than 0-4. That's just, to me, a fact. They've got Burns and Carlson on their blue line. They've got a decent offensive grouping. I don't think Chicago is a great team. I think they're very top heavy. And I also think Crawford has had better days. I mean, my gut feeling here is San Jose, but I don't think I'm getting enough value. I'm a straight pass on this game.
I'm going to look. San Jose looks terrible. They miss Pavelski. The goaltending is really bad. Okay, if you think New Jersey's got goaltending problems, hold my beer, San Jose. Martin Jones out of position twice the other night, and he was the worst starting goalie in the league last year. Dell's just a backup. They got troubles. I mentioned Pavelski. They're weak on the forecheck. They're just a bad team right now, and I'm going to go ahead and say this now. I think DeBoer could be one of the coaches on the hot seat early, despite all they've accomplished. The NHL, they don't wait to pull the coaches, and this team looks really hungover coming into the season. The spot says you're supposed to take San Jose because they're 0-4. They got to be hungry for a win. The Blackhawks have only played one game. They're coming back from Europe, but I can't do it.
Yeah, me either.
I played the Sharks the other night, and it's like I knew 5 minutes into the game that I'm on the wrong side here. They were bad. And I'm not going to make the same mistake again. I'm not going to play Chicago either because the spot says San Jose, but I'm not playing him.
We're on exactly the same page again. Mr. Bianco, sir.
Same thing as Dave mentioned, and we talked about earlier, coming back from Europe. They've had an extra day, of course, from what the Flyers had yesterday. And, I look at the Sharks, and yeah, they do seem like the play, but I'm leaning on the over here instead. A couple things. You look at, and you can't always say what happened last year or the year before or whatever sort of moves over to this year. But these teams played 3 games last year, averaged over 8.5 goals a game. All 3 went over the total. You look at the teams the Sharks have played, all very good defensive teams. Golden Knights gave them nothing in 2 games. They just could not get
their back check swarm it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And then the Sharks head to the road and they have to play at the Honda Center against an Anaheim team who, unlike last year, who started, who were, had injuries at the beginning of the season, and they literally they tanked early on and then got healthy when it was too late. They go to Honda Center where Anaheim plays extremely well. They went to Nashville and played the Predators, who I think are going to have a fantastic season this year, and played them, and we're running out of the building. They're finally going to get a team, I think, tonight in the Blackhawks, where they're going to find some open ice. Marleau makes his since leaving Toronto, he makes his appearance tonight for the Sharks, his first one. I think it's 789 consecutive games or something that he's played. It's not going to make a difference in that sense. I'm just throwing that out there, but I think they get a little bit more ice, and they've got to take it to the Flyers. Sorry, it's not to the Flyers. They got to take it to the Blackhawks early. They got to get on the board first, and they've just got to get their legs under them and try and put the Blackhawks away. 6.5. I'm going over.
I like over in the first period, Carm, and we saw that last year with Chicago. They rattled off 20-21 in a row. Yeah. I like the over in the first period in this game, and I think your take is really good. I agree. I think San Jose is going to get space tonight. Really quick, everybody. I won my 5% play on Sunday. It was on Pittsburgh, the Steelers. I won my 5% play last night on the over in the Washington Dodgers game. I am 4-1 in football 5% plays this year. I have another 5% play up for this Sunday. It's my third NFL 5%er of the season. The regular price is $40, as you can see on the scroll at the bottom of the screen. You can get it for $15. This offer is only for people who watch these videos, and the promo code is Prez 5%. Prez 5%. Guys, the Vegas Golden Knights find themselves on the road playing Arizona tonight. Fleury and net against Renta. Arizona's a small dog, plus 118. They're 0-2 on the season, Manish Dana, which is in Jewish. Why should today be any different from any other day? This team hasn't had a winning season ever. And Vegas finds themselves at 2-1, but both those wins came against the San Jose Sharks. Dave, I'll go to you first. I like the over in this game. I think Vegas is going to be an interesting team to bet totals. I think they're top 3 fastest teams in all of hockey, so there's going to be a lot of skill on the ice. There's going to be a lot of passing, a lot of puck movement, and a lot of opportunity. They also have the best back check swarm that I've ever seen in my life. All 3 forwards are back checking like crazy, whereas most teams it's just the centerman. They're a tough team to score against. I think because they're on the road, and I think Arizona are a fast skating team. I think there'll be a lot of open ice in this game. I like over the total of 5.5. What do you like?
Well, they're not really on the road. I mean, they are, but they're not. Because this crowd will probably be about 50-50 and maybe even more than that. Black and gold in the stands. Loads of Golden Knight fans making the short drive to Phoenix, and they're not a very well-supported home team. So that's point one is you get value in the line right off the bat because Arizona's afforded a home ice advantage that they really don't have for the most part anyway, and it's even less tonight than it is against any other team in the league. So you're not getting cheated on the line. Secondly, the Coyotes still can't score. They have no offense. I'm not going to just crush the front office, but they made Keller their big money guy, their big money long-term son. He's a good player, but he's not a superstar. And if that's the guy they're going to build their team around, and the third thing is, and there's a lot of pressure going into this season on this team because they've been so bad in October the last 2 seasons. I mean, they basically played themselves out of the playoffs in October the last 2 seasons. So it's like we got to get off to a good start. Well, they're already 0-2. And I think they're going to be 0-3. I like the Golden Knights.
Dave, this Arizona team, frankly, shouldn't be in Arizona.
No, they shouldn't.
There's a lot of city. What?
Move them to Seattle or something.
Well, Seattle's getting their own team.
Well, yeah, but what I meant, Yeah.
You've heard it here.
Move them to Quebec. They can move them to Mexico City, and they'll do just as well.
Dave, this is a secret. Don't tell a soul. They will be in Houston within 2 years.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Well, I actually know this.
Well, it's a great sports town, and they'll do really well there.
Yeah, they will be in Houston. And then China will ban them. Carm?
Bada bing. Yes. Okay. I agree with Dave again. Listen, this team can't score. I know you like the under.
I like the over, and I get that they can't score.
And I like the under. And it's home and away do not mirror themselves when these two teams meet. The games in Vegas, extremely high scoring. The games in Arizona have all been low scoring games. You look at the games, Arizona, that game against Boston they played a stifling defensive game. And it's what they're going to try and do to Vegas tonight. This is a game where, as Dave said, if Vegas wins, it's probably like a 3-1 game. I can't take an over when I look at a team and say to myself, okay, who is going to step up and score? Because I just don't see it right now. So until I can see something from this team, I'm staying away from either taking them or taking an over with them. So it's under or nothing for me.
They're going to be, if you want to, in my opinion, the spots to back Arizona will be on the road, because there you get they play a good defensive style of hockey, and that's what you want on a road dog. And by the way, I'm not saying this to be snotty, but you're right. I am right about this. In effect, you could almost make the case they're playing a full season of road games because they have such poor support at home. So they're kind of like Tampa Bay in baseball.
And the Chargers in football.
Yeah. The teams that are better on the road because there's more value with them on the road because they're given a home field advantage that they don't really deserve. So the value becomes, it's kind of a convoluted logic type of thing. I hope people understand the point I'm trying to make. The spots to back Coyotes are on the road, not on the home.
No, I completely get it. And as Prez will tell you, because he is a Leaf fan, it's the same thing you see when Toronto goes down to Florida. Whether they're playing Tampa Bay or whether they're playing Florida, you see way more Leafs jerseys in the stands than you will see Florida jerseys or Tampa Bay jerseys. It's almost the same when they go cross Canada for some reason.
How about when me and you went to Buffalo?
Tons of fans. Yes. Well, it's because I have a friend of mine who owns 4 seats on the glass for the Sabres, and you know what he tells me? The Sabres, Montreal, Pittsburgh, they sell off their tickets because those are premium games, and they know they're selling them to the opposition fans, but they can charge, and it helps pay for their season tickets. Speaking of the Leafs and the Sabres, Lawrence, I don't know if you can see this, but we are going to the Buffalo Toronto game on November 30th. I will be wearing my 50th year edition of the Buffalo Sabres jersey with the gold emblem on the front, Jack Eichel on the back. I'm sure you'll be wearing that god-awful, ugly jersey that you've got there. And I'm pretty sure the Sabres are going to beat the Leafs.
Yeah, we'll make a side bet. Guys, last game on the board, Detroit against Montreal. Montreal was really fast last night. I think this team is slower. I thought this team was slower than they are. They skated with Buffalo last night, which was a real surprise, and they had some really, really good opportunities to actually win the game towards the end of the third period. Price is back in net. They're hosting Detroit. It's their home opener, and Detroit is a surprising 2-1, coming off of a loss against Anaheim. Howard in the net for them. It's minus 182 for Montreal. And I'll go to you first, Dave. I don't like betting minus 182s, but I think this is a very tough spot for Detroit.
Yeah, it is.
I think I would lay a half unit. I'm going to take a page from your book. I would probably lay a half unit on the money line, and I think the Habs are going to win by 2, Dave.
I can't disagree with that. And Montreal was impressive last night.
Yep.
It was a terrible spot for them. I mean, they're coming off that great comeback win against the Maple Leafs, arch rival win. They come back from 4-1 down in the third period, and then win the game in the overtime of the shootout. I can't remember which. I guess it was a shootout.
Overtime.
It was, okay.
And against the Leafs, it was a shootout.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then they've got the home opener tonight. So you got the sandwich game last night with the backup goalie. It's a big game for the Sabres. And the only reason Montreal lost was because Buffalo's power play right now is going crazy. The Sabres, if you check the stats, they're scoring at an unbelievable rate on the power play. And I think they had 3 power play goals last night. I know they had 2, and the one in overtime was either...
Yeah, it was scored like a second late, yeah.
Yeah, it was right after the power play, so it was still effectively on the power play.
Yeah.
Outside of that, Montreal is the better team in a flat spot. So Canadiens should be fired up tonight. Price in goal. Yeah, I think a -1 here is not a bad play.
Yeah, and Carmine Bianco, before we get into your thoughts on that game, I just want to say Eichel just looked unbelievable last night.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great.
Oh, my God.
Listen, he's probably going to have one of his best seasons for the Sabres. Listen, he's a guy who has never scored 30 goals yet.
He will this year.
He will this year. I think he's had 3 already, which isn't bad. On the power play, he had so many opportunities to score on the other power plays where they didn't score. It was unbelievable. I think he hit the post a couple times. Yeah. He is playing some of his, at least early on, some of his best hockey. And this is a Sabres team. And it's funny because, and this is great that Dave is here because we're going to talk about, I'm going to give a Sabres analogy just for a quick 30 seconds because Dave is a horse guy. I know he goes to Del Mar with Marco. And the Sabres last year and the Sabres this year, this is the thing is, I'm not really sure if they're going to make the playoffs, but the Sabres are like a horse that you bet on in the first, and it's racing a mile. It gets out of the gate, it's out of front, and you're like, wow, we're looking good. We're looking good. This is great. And then you're not quite sure halfway through the race whether the horse is slowing down or the ones behind him are getting quicker. And this is how the Sabres season has been. And then towards the end, after he's been passed by about 7 or 8 horses, you're like, oh, God, okay, my ticket, this is it. And you're ripping up a win ticket. And that's the Sabres last year. Fantastic start, first place, end of November after 10-game win streak. And then they go 16, 33, and 8 to finish off the season. They have to try and avoid that. They have a team that's very exciting, but do they have the depth?
I'm not sure. The
I don't
thing
think
is,
they have the depth.
You can't. These power play stats that they're putting up are not. I mean, you can't maintain that pace.
Yeah.
And 5-on-5, they're not very good.
And Dave, if you look at it, and Lawrence, if you look at it, let's look at it this way: Toronto, Tampa Bay, Boston, playoffs. There's 3. Yep. Washington, likely Islanders, Pittsburgh, 6.
Yeah, I don't think Pittsburgh's going to make the playoffs.
They're only playing for.
You can maybe sub Florida in for Pittsburgh because the Panthers, I think, will be a pretty good team as Quenneville makes his mark down there. They're not going to be in the
guys. Yeah. I'm the host. I got to bring the show back to where it's supposed to go. Carmine, Detroit versus Montreal. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, same thing. Last night, obviously, they gave Carey Price the night off in lieu of tonight, so he'll be in net tonight against Detroit. Detroit's going with Bernier tonight. They're doing this rotating goalie thing. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't understand. You can't win over the course of a season rotating your goalies, one in, one out, one in, one out. Red Wings, their 2-0 start came to a halt against Anaheim. I really liked Anaheim in that game against Detroit the other night. And, I'm not going to lay that big number. I'd rather take the goal line with the Canadiens tonight. They won the last 4 at the Bell Center. All of them by sort of 2+ goals. And in this series, the last 9 games, Montreal's won them all. At least for the time being, it looks like they've got Detroit's number. For me, it's Montreal tonight and Montreal on the goal line.
It's the last minute of play. We're going to go through the rest of the game super quick, 10 seconds each. Before we get into that, I just want to make mention that Jeff from Oskeim Sports is on a 17-3 all-play run. He's on a 17-3 all-play run. He has a 5% play up in college football on Saturday. You guys can get $20 off of any play he has, including that 5% play. So long as the package is over $40, use the promo code OSK20 and it's $20 off. You can get $20 off his next 3 days, his next 7 days, his next is 5% college football play alone. It doesn't matter. Head over to Wager Talk. Use the promo code OSK20. Guys, let's race through it. Toronto, Tampa Bay, 6.5 minus 113. I like the over. I'm laying off of the side. Carmine.
I like the under. Last year, I hate to go against you. Last year, a lot of the Toronto Tampa Bay totals were 7, and they were going under. I'm going to stick with the two good teams, tight checking game, 3-2 final, Tampa Bay.
Dave.
No real thoughts on the game. If I had to guess, I'd guess Maple Leafs, but certainly not for money.
3-0 Anaheim going into 1-2 Pittsburgh. Anaheim super surprise so far. I think this is a real tough spot for them. I like Pittsburgh minus 141. Dave?
Yeah, I can go along with that. Not the best spot for the Ducks, but they're playing with an awful lot of enthusiasm right now. I don't want to lay a price into them.
Carmine?
Under for me. The fact that Malkin's out, it looks like it's a long-term injury. It takes a lot of the scoring out of that lineup as well, too. 6 goals seems like a lot here.
Guys, I had the pleasure of sitting down with an NHLer, ex-NHLer, played 15 seasons, actually played with Gretzky a couple of weeks ago, and we spoke a lot about teams that come back from road trips and why they lose in that after a 4 or 5 game road trip. And we also spoke about look ahead games and look past games. St. Louis is in a look past game to me tonight. It's tough to comprehend that Ottawa will beat St. Louis, but I like them plus 170 for my dog of the day. Carmine?
Yeah, it helps you out a bit that Jake Allen's in that tonight. Binnington's given the night off, so that could help you. I don't have an opinion on the side here, but I think your dog plays is not a bad play there.
No, I think it's a good idea. If you want to take a shot on a long shot tonight, this is the spot. I mean, Ottawa's going to treat this like an enormous game because the Stanley Cup champs are in town. It is a look-ahead spot for St. Louis. The bad part is that Ottawa stinks. But I think if you want to make a play here, Ottawa first period. They come out flying in this game.
Great call, Dave. We were just talking about these teams coming back from road trips. Winnipeg was on one for a week, Dave. They're now home against Minnesota. And, one of the things this guy said to me was the players, when they get back after a 7-day, 8, 10-day road trip, they're just tired. They have an adrenaline dump. They struggle to sleep that first night back. And it's just not a good spot to bet on them. I like Winnipeg tonight. I think at a 2-2 record, playing a Minnesota team that I think is just bad. Bottom 5 team in hockey. With that said, I'm going to stay true to that trend and lay off of this game simply because Winnipeg is coming back from a 7-day road trip. Dave?
I agree with everything you said. Good spot to skip.
Carm?
Yeah, this is the big X. No opinion on the over. No opinion on the thing. Minnesota's going to win sooner or later, but that's not a betting angle I'm using tonight, so I'm passing.
I like that. It's the old. I think they call that the do-to theory. Yeah. You know what that'll get you.
Yeah.
Dave Cokin, I like the under in the Washington-Nashville game. I lean on Nashville. I'm not going to get to the window, but I do like the under.
Not sure what to make of the Capitals so far. I've just got a big question mark next to that team, and I think I'm just going to avoid them until I can get a feel for if they're any good or not. I don't know if they are.
Carm?
Yeah, I'm a Nashville fan in the sense of I figured they're going to have a good start this season. Last year, I mentioned 13-3 their first 16. 10 of their first 14 are home this season. They started off well so far, and I don't mind laying $1.40 with Nashville tonight.
Guys, I liked 4 games tonight. I only released one. The game I released is on the Boston-Colorado game. As I said to you earlier, I like the New Jersey Devils enough to bet my own money on them. I like the New Jersey Devils over enough to bet my own money. And the 4th game that I really liked was the over in the Calgary-Dallas game. Dallas will play to the under all year, but we have a low number of 5.5. I think we're going to get to 6. I like the over. Dave?
Pass. No, I nothing on this game.
Mr. Bianco?
I'm the same. There's better games on the card. We don't have to bet them all. We don't have to have opinions on this one, guys.
Colorado hosting Boston. Boston 3-0. Colorado 2-0. One of these teams is going to get a loss. I'm going to stay out of this. Dave?
I'm going to stay out of it too, but boy, oh boy, I want to watch this because you got the 2 best number 1 lines in hockey going against each other tonight. The Bergeron line was phenomenal at Las Vegas the other night, and the McKinnon line is just tremendous for Colorado. This is a great matchup.
I heard both those teams watch the Leafs' first and second line in order to learn how to play.
Well, okay. Maple Leafs are really good too, but I'm going to tell you something. That, in my opinion, the 2 best first lines are on the ice tonight in Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
No line is better than Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and whoever the hell they put next to him. That's actually a statistical fact based on last year and will be again based on this year. Carm, what do you like in this game?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this game. I have to believe, as good as Colorado is, and they're a great skating team, that the Bruins are looking to end this West Coast trip with a perfect 4-0 record. And speaking of this Bruins team, listen, they're going to go back home and have 1 day's rest off a West Coast trip and play on Saturday against the Devils. And I think they're primed for a fade in that spot. They played 4 physical games. Listen, they played. You look at what they've played so far. The Golden Knights, Arizona, Dallas, all low-scoring physical games. They're going to have another one tonight where Colorado's going to skate. We're going to see it tonight. And they're going to go home with 1 day's rest and have to play on Saturday against the Devils. I know the Devils aren't playing well. It's a great fade spot, I think, on Saturday. But as far as tonight, it's Bruins. I think they end this trip 4-0.
Guys, whoever stayed till the end of the show, thank you. We've been taping for 37 minutes. I want to end with a quick story, and then we'll get out of here. Thank you, Dave and Carm, for joining. But listen to this, Carm. So I'm with my girlfriend last night, Vivian. We're on the couch, and, she's explaining betting to these people is so hard, minus this, minus that. They have to win by 2. It's minus 135. You got to lay 135 to win 100, blah, 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 blah. And then she was relaying a story to me about Kelly. Kelly was telling her a story, and Kelly was saying, 4 dimes. And she's like, what the hell's a dime? So long story short, I'm like, Viv, I'm going to set up an account for you. I put $200 into Bet365 for her. And what I said was, you know what, let's just enjoy this. This is not about you making money or losing money. You don't have a clue. Let's enjoy this. What I want you to do is every Monday, I want you to take $10 and bet it on any game you like. And then on Tuesday, when you win, you're going to roll it. You're going to roll it on Wednesday. You're going to roll it on Thursday, all the way to Sunday. It's going to require hitting 7 straight games. That $10 will equate to $1,280 on Sunday if you win all 7 games. If you lose on Monday or Tuesday, you're done for the week. She's like, this is so exciting. I'm like, you have 20 weeks to win one of them. Do you think you can do it? She's like, oh yeah, I'll do it twice. I'm like, so you understand, Vivian, the odds are that you won't do it once in 128 weeks. Because if you double your money, you get $128, minus the juice. But 128 weeks, and you're not supposed to do it once. Anyway, the moral of the story is this, everybody out there. Stop doing parlays. If you want to have some fun, and if you want to try to make a ton, do this. Make your straight bets, and then roll your money. Pick Do it 5 times. Do it 4 times. Do it 7 times. Whatever the case, it is going to be way more fun to roll your money every week, $10, $20, than it is for you to bitch on our comment section at YouTube about how Dave Cokin went 6-1 this weekend and you lost because the 7-team parlay didn't hit. That's my discussion for the day. Anything you want to add?
I just sent Vivian a text message on what to play tonight.
Oh, she took the Toronto over. She needs 7 goals in the Toronto in the Leaf game. And Carm, you got to send her a message about it. Dave?
I'm done.
Later, boys. Thanks for the great show.